Check out the price of Bitcoin, just about to cross the $53,000 level, but it is now trading lower today at $51,318. Also, Ethereum did cross over the $3,000 level for giving back some of those gains. All of this coming a month after the SEC's spot Bitcoin ETF decision. And joining us right now in an exclusive interview is Galaxy Digital CEO Mike Novogratz. Mike, it's great to see you. There has been some talk about whether there'd be consolidation at this $52,000 level. Also, just about what's about to happen or not between the halving and everything else, and what kind of interest we're really seeing from the institutional space. Given where you sit and actually the institutions that you're talking to, where are we in that process?
Listen, we've come a long way fast, both in U.S. stocks and in crypto. I mean, crypto, it's almost felt too easy, right? You know, we've gone up almost every day. And so it wouldn't surprise me if there's some consolidation. Right, trees don't grow to the sky. But I think the big story is we've now opened up the institutional, the RIA community, right? $45 trillion of wealth are managed by brokers. And, you know, we've got baby boomers who own most of the wealth in America, and they're getting their first easy access to Bitcoin. And you're seeing it through these ETFs, the massive growth in a very short period of time in this whole ETF complex. And I don't think that's going to stop, right? Last night, we had $135 million of inflows after that slowed down from 400, 350. Paul Tudor Jones taught me early on in my career that prices get set on the margin, right? And so when we've got more buyers and sellers, prices go up. And I see a kind of a constant, these are hodlers as well, right? These are guys that are buying to put it in their portfolio and hold. They're not traders. And so the ETF buyers in general that are coming through these RIA channels, I think are taking supply off the market. So I still see Bitcoin ending the year a lot higher. That said, could we consolidate around here for a little while? Of course we could.
Let's just talk through the sort of dynamics of this RIA situation, which is a number of these institutions still have to get approval to do this. So how do you see that playing out in terms of just, you know, how many advisors can actually recommend Bitcoin as a product today versus how many will be able to do that in 6 months from now?
I don't have a perfect answer, but I would tell you at least double in 6 months, right? There are big channels that still aren't turned on, that we know they're going to get turned on, right? We're in conversations with them. These are the big platforms. And like there's an inevitability to it. Why? Because their customers are calling and bitching at them and saying, we want to buy Bitcoin with you. And so then the sales guys who get paid for selling stuff are screaming at their bosses. And so I'm certain it's going to happen. Like this is not, it might happen. It is going to happen. It just takes time. These organizations are very conservative in general. And, you know, crypto scared the heck out of people 18 months ago. And so there's still scar tissue. You know, it's surprising that we have a approved, U.S. sanctioned Bitcoin ETF, and it's still very difficult for a lot of crypto companies just to get banking services in the U.S.
So many of these folks are hodlers, as you like to call them, as I think the industry likes to call them. When do you think we get to a point where people actually are buying and selling this product?
Well, listen, there is a trading community, right? Like what people forget is, if you're young, it's not been difficult to buy Bitcoin, right? You get it on your Square app, you get it on almost any app, Robinhood. And so there's a whole universe of people that have bought and sold that will continue to. And hedge funds broadly, I mean, they don't buy and sell daily unless they're quant funds. But, you know, macro funds will get in and then they'll get out just like any other macro asset. You think about gold, every macro trader I know has been bullish gold, but I bet you every single macro trader you can talk to has both bought and sold gold 4 times in the last 6 months.
If I asked you to make the downside case for Bitcoin, what would it be in your mind?
45,000, 42,000.
And what would get you there?
It could be some regulatory, kerfuffle. It could just be the market got a little long and you get people scared. I don't see that as a high probability, But, we broke out. You can just look at the chart. We kind of broke out from 45. And so pushing through where you broke out from happens often in markets. It's not supposed to be easy to make money. You got to get scared a few times. And that's what's been so impressive about the real core Bitcoin community. Like they just take the pain and buy more. I mean, there's such a belief system around this asset. But it wouldn't surprise me if something happened that we're not paying attention to.
So Tom Lee was on the broadcast earlier this morning and said that he thinks this could be at $150,000 a Bitcoin by the end of the year. What do you think?
When markets get new buyers and start breaking out, it's hard to have a price prediction. I do think we will test the old highs, in a relatively short period of time. And if you take out 69,000, usually you don't go right through the first time. You'll touch them and you'll come all the way back. And you'll be mad you didn't sell something, and then it takes off again. But once you break 69,000, listen, it could measure to 150,000, right? 125,000. Again, what would have to happen? The Fed finally pivots and starts cutting rates, right? We continue to have fiscal irresponsibility.
Let's go back for a second. How correlated do you think that? I mean, it's funny you said that, because there's a lot of folks who think this is correlated to what the Fed is doing, but then there have been periods of time where it has seemed completely unrelated.
Yeah, listen, there's two stories with Bitcoin that always happen. One, it's a macro asset, and the second, we're early on in the life cycle, so there's an adoption cycle. Right now, this is all adoption. This is new buyers coming in and being told the big picture story, that you need to have this in your portfolio because we've got fiscal irresponsibility that's not going away. And this is a hard asset. And more people are believing, despite Jamie Dimon, despite Elizabeth Warren, that this is a hard asset. And so that's what's driving it now. But it's still a macro asset. And so in the same way, gold hasn't had a great run, partly because Bitcoin substitution, partly because, listen, it's been harder to call the U.S. government. I mean, the U.S. economy, right? The Fed really gave us the sense that they were going to be cutting in March, and now they're not going to cut in March.